It's difficult to know where to begin when talking about charities. There's so many wanting your attention and needing your support. Which one do you listen to? You work hard to earn money, to buy the things you want and to provide the things that your family needs. But did you know you can have all of this and still help those people in the world who are without? MAF are an organisation currently at work in over 1,700 destinations around the world. Whenever somebody donates food or clothing or medical supplies, whenever a remote village needs teachers or doctors or somebody to come and build and install a new water system, MAF loads everything onto one of its planes and then makes sure it gets there.
Way back in 1945, three ex-RAF personnel got together and had a vision to start a work amongst the developing countries to bring help, hope and healing to those who are in these remote areas.
One of them, particularly Murray Kendon, wondered whether aircraft could be used positively after the war. You know, they'd flown them for war, but now he wondered if missions could use aircraft in their work. And so he got together with a few other men and they started to go and investigate whether a mission in the air was going to be viable.
As you can understand, there's many countries throughout the world in these developing areas in Africa, Asia, South America, where countries can't be reached by any other type of transport aircraft. Even roads are impassable at times, so a light aircraft can land in various places in the world to bring that help and hope to those who are in this isolated situation.
They had their first flight to Nairobi just to investigate whether a mission in the air would be possible and was needed. And after some days surveying, they found that missionaries and organisations would really value the use of aircraft in their work. And so that's when it started in 1948, and in 1950 they had their first, they started working with one aircraft, a de Havilland Dragon Rapide, which saved them for a few years. They just had the one aircraft at the time, but after they had, unfortunately, had an accident with that, but then they got more aircraft from then. So from then, and they still work in South Sudan today, so their work goes right back. So 70 years this year it's been since it started. If there's someone in need, someone needs to get to a hospital quickly, MAF will help. Yeah, it doesn't depend on religion or they will help anybody.
They can help with medical situations and war-torn evacuations even, where there is trouble going on and they can get people out of that situation. That's happened particularly in Sudan at the moment, in South Sudan. So yes, they can bring supplies, they can take missionaries around, they can bring the gospel, they can help with Bible translators, they can take those people in. But even royalty has even travelled with MAF. Princess Anne, who's a patron of Save the Children, she's been on board an MAF plane. And newscasters and famous people like Cliff Richard, people who have been out to these countries to see what's been going on.
Anybody really that needs to get into a remote area, MAF will take them. They buy a ticket like any other airline, and the MAF will take them in. Obviously, the price is highly subsidised, so that depending on who they are and the charity they're working for, they can pay and be taken in. Goods and everything sometimes needs to go in, you know. So yeah, all sorts of different people, missionaries coming and going, children going to school. The Archbishop of Canterbury, he flew in as well, and various celebrities going out to do maybe with Save the Children or wherever they need to be. some of these remotest places on earth, really. MAF can transport them there.
Now in Nepal, where there has been 2 earthquakes happened in April and May, and although MAF don't actually work in Nepal, they have been helping with other organisations using their skills, sending a response team, a disaster response team out there to help in these situations.
Since May, they've been in Nepal with these helicopters flying maybe every 8 minutes. They've been backwards and forwards to remote places, taking groups in. So that's been really watching that unfold. And then there was a while back, there was a baby in Atoro Island, which is an Indonesian island, little island off near Timor-Leste in Indonesia. And the only way to get there is by boat. And can take time and weather and everything. And there was a little baby who had real problems. She had real breathing problems, and the parents took her to the midwife, and the midwife saw that she was in desperate need of emergency care, and which wasn't available on her island. But to go by normal route, by boat, that would have taken too long. There wasn't time for the baby. So they got in touch with MAF and phoned, and the pilot came over from Timor-Leste, flew over and flew them back to Dili, which is the main town on Timor-Leste. That took 13 minutes, to get there, but that baby's life was saved. And day by day, there's stories like that coming out from MAF. It's really exciting, so often to hear.
So how can you help? Well, there's 2 ways. The first is obviously money. You and your family come first, but even the tiniest bit you have left over can still go a long, long way. Imagine you buy a burger, a 99p flame-grilled, cheese and salad topped mouthful of joy to fill the gap after a hard day. What are you going to do with the penny you've got left over? A gallon of aviation fuel costs an average of £3. On average, this allows a MAF light aircraft to fly for 15 miles. 1 penny buys this much aviation fuel to allow MAF to send equipment, people and supplies this far. Not bad for change from a 99p burger. The second way is time.
We've been involved, my wife and I, on the, if you like, the support base since 2005, when we saw the MAF trailer exhibition at a Christian festival at the FIEC festival in Cheltenham, and we signed up to receive their literature, and we've been getting that literature ever since. But in 2010 they were looking for volunteer workers to help with area representatives, church representatives, prayer group leaders, etc. on behalf of MAF. So we were just about retiring at the time, my wife and I, from our job, and we went and applied to become area representatives with MAF in 2010. We've been doing that ever since.
I mean, there's always vacancies for pilots, engineers, HR staff, bookkeepers, finance people, you know, and MAF have got a long list of vacancies that they'd like people to apply for. Obviously, their commitment is, as a Christian, they have to have a Christian commitment to a church and backing from a church. And people who go internationally, they have to find a lot of the fundraising themselves, to support themselves. So, you know, but there's lots of opportunities. Also, there's opportunities for volunteers like ourselves. For instance, we cover just the area around Merseyside.
But there are areas throughout the UK where a MAF representative isn't situated. So there's opportunities, I'm sure, for people to get involved. And again, if you go onto the website, you can find details of how to help by being an area rep, for instance.
There's lots of other ways churches can get involved by getting involved in a year-long process, a commitment to a lifeline. When the church finds out more in detail about a particular country, about the work of MAF across all their activities, and people can, sign up for that. Locally, you can be an MAF representative. Prayer groups as well. There's always a need for people to get together to pray. So prayer group leaders, people who want to run coffee mornings like other organisations do. They have a coffee morning. They can send you a kit to organise a coffee morning, or a big breakfast. So get together people. Lots of different ways of, like a lot of other organisations, but they have lots of ways that people can get involved. But really, prayer is one of the main things that they ask for. Obviously, they need funds as well, but that's as the Lord leads, really. People
can sign up. They can sign up at any time. They can go on the website, sign up just to receive the magazine. We have a magazine here, Flying for Life. That's the logo, really, Flying for Life. And it's not a flight of luxury like you and I might take for our holidays. It's flying for life in many situations. So that magazine comes out quarterly, and that can be received free of charge by anybody who just signs up for that work. Also, they have Facebook and Twitter accounts as well. They can go and find out. People can sign up for their magazine. You can write to the office in Folkestone and get the magazine delivered to your door 4 times a year. And with that comes a prayer diary, which is really useful because that goes through day by day, each day, giving you the needs and introducing you to the staff and really bringing the work of MAF to you, really. And just before I sign off with this, the book that is really passionate to me is Hope Has Wings, written by one of the founder members, Stuart King, who is actually 93 years of age and still pops into the office in Folkestone to offer advice even today.
These people that MAF reach are in the most remotest parts of the world, and to get to these places there are no roads. Some of these places, or the roads are badly hard to get to with the rainy season, and so MAF can fly into these places and bring the help that people need, the hope, a spiritual hope that brings, because they're a Christian organisation. With that comes the gospel. And the pilots routinely pray before the flight. So whatever people they're transporting, they can see that this is a Christian organisation, and the pilots are passionate about their faith as well. And also to bring physical healing to people who, we take so much for granted, but these people have got nothing. It came home to me the other week when nearby there was a gas explosion a couple of doors up from where my parents live, and the front of the house was blown out and the back, and the lady was badly injured. But that was just one house, a couple of other minor houses around. But imagine your whole town is devastated by an earthquake. Those sort of things really come home. MAF can get into those places and make a real difference to these people.
So the passion is that work is going on and people are saved. And also they're hearing the gospel. They're being shown the gospel by the actions of the work of MAF, but also the gospel can be shared amongst people by taking as well evangelists around. And every day the pilots pray for the work as they go out. Whoever they're taking, they pray for that journey, and the gospel is shared daily amongst people in the world who would never be reached.
Thank you. Your change can make a change.